You. And welcome back. How's everyone getting on?
Doing good.
Good,
And today we're
good.
joined by a legend, Chris Leben. How you doing, man?
I'm doing awesome, man. Thanks for having me on.
No
Of
problem.
course. Man, when you were in the UFC, you were in there causing carnage. You were unreal and very recognizable with your red head of hair. Um, so fair play to you. How did you get into MMA?
Well, my modeling career wasn't working out too well, and I knew I had to do something different. No, just kidding. I did some boxing in middle school. I wrestled through high school. Um, really loved wrestling, but just really wasn't what I would call college bound, if you
Mm.
know what I mean.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I was working construction, and my brother was selling cars. And one day he called me and he said, "Hey man, I got a job at this car lot, and Randy Couture and Matt Lillard are kicking the shit out of each other in the garage." And I went, "What?" I was a UFC fan, and this is way back in the day. It's like UFC 20 something, maybe.
Mm.
Randy was champ at the time. So immediately jumped in my car, shot down there. And that was Team Quest at the very beginning before it was actually Matt Lindland's USA Auto Wholesale. And, it was Team Quest before it was Team Quest.
Mm.
And yet signed up that day. And man, that was it, dude. I was off to the races.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, it obviously went well for you. You've fought some amazing opponents and you've done amazingly with it. But you've since well, you retired and then you moved into bare knuckle boxing.
That's
And
correct.
as I was saying before we started, I think you're crazy doing that, but you're also doing so well in it.
mm,
How come you made the switch?
Well, so it's kind of a long story, but ultimately my retirement, I was not happy with the way I finished my career in the UFC. I was having some major problems in my life,
mm,
some substance abuse problems, along with some relationship problems, and
It
my
happens.
last few fights in the UFC were subpar. And as a matter of fact, my very last fight in the UFC, um, I quit on the stool. I didn't even answer the bell for the last round. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Fuck this. I just want to get my money and get out of here. And for a guy that has always kind of left it all in the ring, that's kind of known for, slugging it out and fighting to the death, it was a pretty crushing blow to have finished my career on that note. That being said, ultimately, I sobered up and, addressed my health issues, both my physical and my mental health issues. I think we all have them, but mine were a little more glaring than others. Um, and next thing I know, man, I was kicking the shit out of all the 20-year-olds in the gym again. I felt better than I ever had. So I was like, fuck, I want to finish my career on a different note. Tried to sign with Bellator. Um, found out my health was bad. Tried to re-sign with Bellator. They told me to go fuck myself, more or less. And then I got a call from the bare knuckle guys. I told them, no, I'm not doing that. You know, um, and this was like, BKFC 1, right? And then I got on YouTube after that first show and I looked at it and I was like, fuck, this is genius. You know, I don't know why we ever got rid of bare knuckle boxing 100 years ago, because it's freaking exciting, and the sport was designed for a guy that fights the way I fight. I mean, the ring is substantially smaller than the cage. Guys don't have room to run backwards. They can't just hold you down. 2-minute rounds, super fast paced, exciting,
Mm.
Um, I fell in love with it, just watching it on YouTube. And ultimately I called him back and was like, dude, let's do this.
Well, you're doing well in it, and it's amazing to see.
mm.
But when it came to fixing your health, because you had an unusual lifestyle, being a fighter,
Right.
was that difficult for you? Like, how did you get through it?
So what happened was, when I did my medicals for Bellator, I'd signed a contract with, I failed because I had a 14% ejection fraction on my heart, which basically they told me, hey, you need a new heart. You need a heart transplant, and ultimately through lifestyle changes, changing all the friends around me, cutting out the booze and everything else. My heart got better and better till one day I went into my cardiologist and I, did my checkup, and she said, you are like normal. You're back to normal. So I said, well, in that case, would you let me fight? And she said, yeah, you can do anything a normal person can do. And I was like, well, there we go. And that's about the time that the BKFC called.
Amazing.
Funny timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like, congratulations on getting better. It's very
yeah. No, it ain't easy. It's a fair play.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, I mean, I spent a lot of years burning the candle at both ends, fighting hard, partying hard. I mean, go fast, kick ass, chug beers, crank tunes. That was my motto for a long time, and ultimately you just, you can't do that forever. My body was like, hey, fuck you. We're taking a break, and it was my ticker that gave out. But, if anybody out there's listening, hey, if I can do it, if I can go from 14% to 50, now 60 would be perfect, but a 14% ejection fraction all the way up to 50, just by changing my lifestyle, I really think that anybody can do it that has those issues.
Well, again, Chris, fair play to you.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing you in bare-knuckle boxing and to see you continue fighting. When it's all over, what's the plan? When you're done fighting, what's next?
Well, out here in California, I'm a referee and a judge for CAMO, which is the amateur commission out here. Ultimately,
People must fanboy to you a lot.
What's that?
I said you must get a lot of fanboys from the amateurs.
I get recognized here and there, and obviously, most of those amateur fighters, were in high school or middle school when I was kind of a big deal, so they all kind of grew up watching me. But that being said, I really love refereeing, and I take the job very, very seriously. I think, fighter safety is so important, but at the same time, you want to give both guys every chance possible. You don't want to stop anybody short. You don't want to let them go too long. And it's a job that, I'd like to see more and more, athletes, combat sport athletes, take those leadership roles and start repping and judging. And God knows with some of these UFCs, we've seen some judging that was like, I don't know, It's nice if, it was a, you guys there?
Yeah.
Sorry. My phone said 20% battery. It's somehow
that's okay.
Down for a second when it does, but it'd be nice to see more fighters doing that, so it's definitely something I want to do to give back to the sport. I mean, ultimately, I'm a martial artist, and I'm always going to be a martial artist. And then that doesn't mean just fighting. That means, I want to judge, I want to referee, I want to open my own gym and start my own lineage. I want to corner guys from their first fight all the way up to Bellator or the UFC or the BKFC. My life is in combat sports, and I'm not going back to school anytime soon. So I'm going to continue on that path.
Well, we look forward to seeing it, Chris.
Thank you.
But before we let you go, do you have any comments on what you've seen, or did you watch the Connor McGregor versus Poirier fight? What were your thoughts?
I was really, I will never bet against Connor. I've said I've lost my money too many times betting against that guy. I got to tell you though, he looked good. People are like, oh, I thought he looked good up until he got you know, he even when he got hurt, he was still slipping and moving. And then, you know what? He slipped right when he should have slipped left, man. Right into that big right hand from Poirier. And anybody gets hit square in the nose like that, that's it, you know? I certainly don't think, you know, this is the end of an era or anything like that. You know, I think a rubber match is in order. That's what I think. And I thought Conor was doing good. He was doing some really tricky stuff against the cage with trapping the arm to set up those shoulder strikes.
Yeah, I've never seen something like that before.
Some stuff I've never seen guys do. And you know what? Come tomorrow, I'm going to be in the gym practicing it. I'm going to be trying to figure out what it was he was coming up with because it looked effective. If it wasn't effective, Poirier wouldn't have started throwing them back at him. Guys start hitting you back with the same thing because it's working on them. You know?
Yeah, Poirier looks scared when that happens.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, Chris, again, thank you for getting on. Yeah, well, look, we're looking forward to seeing you fight and continue on. So yeah, thanks for coming on, and to anyone who listened or watched, take it handy.
Thanks for watching. Chat, yes.
Top of the morning, lads and ladies. Support for the Awfully Irish podcast is now brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming.
Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels, and you're no longer need the look of the Irish with the ladies. Manscaped just launched in Ireland. We've gone years without using the right tools for the job. You can now be one of the first men in Ireland to experience their life-changing products.
Your balls will thank you.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code IrishPod at manscaped.com.
That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code IrishPod.